Here is a system, a software developed by the Ministry of Interior, the NGS Projects Office. They based on the TWSMP, develop a software to help the provider, the information provider to build up their own metadata. Because in the metadata, there are many information are duplicated. So it's a system. They have a system to help the edit, to help the developer or provider to edit their metadata. Okay. So, for example, here is a land use project. Okay, it's a national land use project survey. The results. So it's a land use database, GS database, and we have to build up metadata for it. The first thing you have to realize the structure of the information or the terms. For example, okay, here the structure of the cities, the area 1, area 2, they divide Taiwan into different areas for land use surveying. And in this process, they have to correct some different sources and some field work, and to recognize each parcel, the location and the boundary of the parcel, and to recognize the land use, or to identify the land use, and finally build up the GIS data. So it is the process how to get the national land use database, how they created the process. And here is the data tree structure, hierarchical tree structure. So how to classify the land use. For example, for the first tier, there's land use for the residential, commercial, industrial, something like that. And the residential use, it can be type 1, type 2, type 3. So how the structure are made, so describe here. So here is there's the agricultural land. So it's the number 1, and here is also agriculture, and here's well, it's a different kind of agricultural product. Okay? And here the description or some note about this land use. Okay? So here is land use hierarchy, or the tree structure. So it could be a tree structure to describe all the terms, right? The meaning of the terms. So here is a land use, could be agriculture, could be forest, transportation land, water, built up area, public facilities, creations. So there are different kinds of land use. Right? So just like a tree structure, hierarchy. And they define a different color for different land use. So 这个都是标准的啊。And here, so for this different parcel, they have different metadata to describe these maps. And here is, okay, there's the first level, second level, third level of the land use hierarchy. And in this column, they describe the time producing the map. Okay, here is the time to classify the images from the remote sense data. So there's a field schema of the database. So here is, well, just like example, how to, what is the, I just mentioned there's the data source. You have to describe the data source, how to process the history of the data process, the symbols, colors, meaning, the regulation to produce or the constraint to produce the map. Okay? Who will provide this information? So some information are fixed. You must required. You must provide this information. Some is optional. So it's XML file to describe the metadata. Okay. So it's TWSMP is follow the ISO 19139. It's a schema, and they use some local requirement for extensions. So this is a big idea of the metadata standard in Taiwan. Okay. So you can see that in the in typeface, okay, here, so you can see the metadata. For example, it's a tree. So just now I described the complete structure for the metadata, but in implementation could be a little bit simpler. Okay, here is only describe some basic information about who is made this information, the time, the data name, and who is the provider, the boundary, and the keywords. That's it. But it needs a lot of effort to maintain all the metadata. Okay.好，这个是 metadata 啊。Metadata is very important. Actually, it's not easy to ask the producer to do it because, well, almost all the producers, they are not happy to do these things. Yeah, they are interested in produce the map, but they are not interested in to maintain this extra work for them. But it's very important for user to find out what kind of information we have. 好，这个是 metadata 啊。最后，来我们最后讲 ontology 啊。这边我再找一下啊，我再找一个资料，没找到，一个 ontology， 为什么 ontology 不见了？ontology 是跑到哪去了？ 等一下啊。会不会是在？好。Okay, ontology, well, is in philosophy, ontology means what the object is. So, the ontology of city is a knowledge about what city is. That's ontology in the philosophy. So some of you PhD students, PH means philosophy. So you got the philosophy of doctor, PhD. PH means philosophy. So the ontology in philosophy means you are studying, you are interested in what the object, the city, the anything you are interested in. Okay? 所以 ontology 在中文里面翻译成本体论，在哲学上面啊，翻成本体论。那本体论谈的是你研究对象到底它是什么东西。So, what is life? That's a philosophy question. Well, what city is, what life is, that's the philosophy. It's ontology. We also have a methodology, right? Methodology means how do you know it, right? What kind of method you use to study? What is your study method? That's the methodology. And we have an epistemology. Epistemology 中文翻成认识论。Epistemology is talking about, how you get what is the process or how the history you build up your knowledge. Okay?